Welcome to the Oasis. My name's Mike, and today I'm going to be putting the Oculus Quest and Oculus Rift S head-to-head in a little VR showdown. Because a question I get asked a lot just recently is, should I spend $399 on an Oculus Quest, or should I go out and buy a Rift S? Both headsets are the same price, and both are likely releasing at the same time, which, in my opinion, will be during Facebook F8, which takes place between the 30th of April and the 1st of May, just a couple of weeks away. Now, there's many different factors to consider when choosing which headset is best for you, so it's difficult for me to give you a broad answer that will fit everyone's needs. So what I'm going to do in this video today is compare the specs, graphics, and my hands-on experience with both of these headsets so you can make an informed decision yourself. I can already hear some of you out there in the comments already saying, "Mike, what about the Valve Index?" Well, I'm super excited for the Valve Index too, but my guess is that headset is likely going to cost a lot more than these headsets, and probably cost somewhere between $600 and $800 US. Of course, when I know the details, I'll let you guys and girls know. So this guide is specifically for those that've got $399 US to spend and are in the market for a new VR headset this spring. As always, I'll put timestamps to all the different sections of the video in the description down below. So I hope you guys and girls enjoy this one, and without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so let's start with the simplest point to consider when choosing between the Quest or the Rift S. Do you own a VR-capable PC? Because as we know, the Oculus Quest is completely standalone, so it doesn't need a PC to power the device. Everything is built into the headset itself, and it has a Snapdragon 835 processor at its core, doing all the processing work. All you'll need with the Oculus Quest is a smartphone to run the Oculus app for the initial setup procedure. With the Oculus Rift S, you'll need a PC to power it, with the recommended specs of an i5 processor, a GTX 970 or GTX 1060 with 8GB of RAM. It's also worth noting that the Rift S uses DisplayPort, so make sure you have one free on your graphics card. A decent gaming PC, if you don't have one already, is likely going to set you back anywhere from $600 US and upwards. If you have a PC already and unsure if your PC is up to scratch, check out the official Oculus System Checker tool, which I've linked in the description down below. So I would say, if you own a powerful enough PC or have the option to get one, the Oculus Rift S will provide an overall better looking gaming experience than the Quest, and I'll go into more detail as to why now, as we look at the specs of the two headsets side by side. The Oculus Rift S has a single 2560 by 1440 LCD display, which equates to 1280 by 1440 pixels per eye, running at 80 Hz. Now, when we move on to the Oculus Quest, that has two 1600 by 1440 pixels per eye OLED panels, which run at 72 Hz. On paper, when you compare the specs, you would think that the Oculus Quest provides a better image in the headset, due to having a higher resolution display than the Rift S. And this is a common misconception. Despite having a lower resolution than the Quest, the Rift S is the clear winner here. The graphical fidelity that a PC can provide this headset outperforms the Quest hands down. Some less intensive games look identical on both headsets, but with graphically intensive games, you definitely see the sacrifices that had to be made. You only need to compare Robo Recall on both systems to really see the difference here. The Rift S uses an LCD display with a higher pixel density than the OLED panels in the Quest, making it look very sharp and clear in the headset. However, the Quest will be able to provide better black levels in dark games like Beat Saber and Dance Central due to having OLED panels. However, with all that said, graphics aren't everything. From my hands-on experience with the Quest, although downgraded in terms of visuals, it gives you the same sense of immersion and great gameplay experience that the Rift can provide. Both the Quest and Rift S provide 6 degrees of freedom movement in VR, so you're free to move around the virtual world as long as you have the room in your play space. And this is where the Quest has a huge edge over the Rift S, because you're completely wireless and you don't have to be tethered to a PC. And I can't stress this enough, that wireless VR is totally awesome and feels very liberating. I've been a big advocate of wireless VR solutions in the past, and it's like finally cutting the umbilical cord and being free. It's simply amazing. And although you have this amazing sense of freedom with the Quest, I just want to warn you that it's highly unlikely that you're going to be able to take the Quest outside to play in a park or in a field somewhere. The tracking cameras on the Quest are sensitive to direct sunlight, so when using the headset outside during the day, this will compromise the tracking capability of both the headset and the controllers. It's also just not a good idea to take headsets outside in sunlight, as the Fresnel lenses act as magnifying glasses, and this could cause permanent damage to your headset's displays. I've heard that you could play outside with the Quest during twilight with some ambient lighting, and tracking should be okay, but again, I wouldn't really recommend it. The headset is designed to be used indoors with normal room lighting, so it's also worth noting that this will be an issue in complete darkness, as the cameras need light to track objects in the room to know its location, and this is the same deal with the Oculus Rift S, by the way. One of the other biggest factors to consider when choosing which headset is going to be best for you is the games available. For the most part, there are many games that are available on both the Quest and Rift S and play exactly the same. Beat Saber, Superhot, Dance Central and Shadowpoint are just a few great examples. And there will also be cross-buy functionality on both of these headsets, so if you're lucky enough to own them both, if you buy a game on one headset, you'll likely be able to get it free on the other. However, some games just aren't possible on the Quest, so if you like the look of Stormland or No Man's Sky and Boneworks, then these games are only going to be available and played on a PC VR headset like the Rift S, so just bear that in mind. Also, don't bank on the Quest working with PC VR experiences or SteamVR using third-party solutions. If you want to play PC VR games, get a PC VR headset like the Rift S, because you'll need a VR-capable PC to stream the games to the headset anyway. Having messed around with streaming PC VR content to the Oculus Go in the past using ALVR, RiftCat and Nolo, it's never a great experience. Setup is always a bit of a hassle, and it won't provide as good an experience as with a proper PC VR setup. As we know, once in a VR game, the concept of time can fade away, and before you know it, you've spent hours in a virtual world. Of course, with the Rift S, you're connected to a PC so you can play as long as you want. However, with the Quest, you're limited to the internal battery capabilities. Battery life, I'm estimating, will be around 2 to 3 hours of playtime, although I'm sure using a battery pack to play and charge at the same time will be possible, and I'll be testing this out as soon as I get my hands on the device, so make sure you stay tuned. For those that wear glasses in VR, the Rift S has a useful adjustment button on the bottom of the headset which can move the lenses away from your eyes to accommodate glasses, whereas the Quest doesn't have this function. So if you wear glasses and want to use the Quest, I'd definitely recommend looking into some prescription lens adapters, which I've covered previously for the Oculus Go. This will prevent you from scratching the lenses of both your glasses and the headset. In terms of IPD adjustment, the Quest has a clear advantage over the Rift S. IPD is the setting you need to calibrate to specify the distance between your eyes to ensure everything looks clear in the headset. The Quest uses 2 panels and has a mechanical IPD adjustment slider, which I prefer over the Rift S, which has a single panel and uses software to adjust the IPD setting. This will make swapping the Quest to different users and adjusting the IPD on the fly much easier. So let's move on to tracking. Both headsets use the new Oculus Insight tracking system, which uses cameras on the headset to provide inside-out tracking so you don't need any external sensors. Just put both of these headsets on, set up your Guardian boundary, and you're good to go. Overall, tracking is better on the Rift S, and this is due to the camera placement and having a 5th camera placed on top of the headset. I did some tracking tests with both headsets at PAX if you want to see my testing in those videos. Both headsets have dead spots in their tracking. Both will lose tracking with controllers close to the cameras, practically touching the headset itself. And also when your hands are behind your back, although these movements happen very rarely in VR games. The main advantage here is that the Rift S instantly reintroduces the controllers when tracking is lost, whereas the Quest, there is a slight delay, maybe just a second before it's reintroduced after being lost. Both headsets will have pass-through camera modes if you quickly want to see what's going on in the real world around you. In terms of audio, both Quest and Rift S use the same audio design, where they have channels in the head straps to pump audio from the headset to outlets near your ears, and both feature inbuilt microphones. Both headsets have 3.5mm headphone jacks to use your own headphones, which is definitely recommended for the best audio experience. Using headphones with the Quest with its flexible head strap is much easier than the Rift S, as the Rift S uses a chunky, rigid halo strap, which makes it difficult to get the headphones over the strap. Also, the Quest is rumoured to have its own official headphone accessory, which uses both 3.5mm headphone jacks, which are located on both sides of the headset. With the controllers, the Quest and Rift S use the same new Oculus Touch controller, and the new controller has the same capacitive touch sensors and haptic feedback as the original controllers. For those that have used the original controllers, you'll find these new controllers familiar, as they feel pretty much the same when you're in VR, albeit slightly slimmer and lighter. The new controllers will be backwards compatible with the original Rift, but the original touch controllers won't work with the Quest or Rift S, as they need the inverted tracking ring of the new controllers for the Oculus Insight system to track the controller's movements. And finally, let's get on to comfort. Although I'm not a massive fan of halo straps, the Rift S is very balanced and very comfortable to wear, and you'll be able to play games for hours on end without any issues. With the Oculus Quest, it's very front heavy. Having used the Quest on 3 separate occasions now, something I noticed is that when playing active games like Beat Saber or Sport Scramble, the headset can start to shift down, moving my view out of the sweet spot. And this could be that I don't have any hair, so it's easier for the headset to slide around my head, so maybe I'll just have to wear it tighter than usual in the future, or find a little VR hat to wear. It's just something to consider. Okay, so there we have it, guys and girls. That's the Oculus Quest versus the Oculus Rift S. Now, both headsets have their own advantages and disadvantages, but I think regardless of which one of these headsets you choose, you'll have a great VR experience either way. I'm going to be getting both of these headsets to cover in detail on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of my future guides and accessory videos on these headsets so you can get the best out of them. But which one of the two headsets am I most excited about? Well, I'm much more excited about the Oculus Quest. I love that it's so accessible, easy to use, and will be a product that has the potential to bring VR to the masses. But if I missed anything you want to know about either one of these headsets, put your questions in the comments down below and I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. But also let me know which headset you're most excited about and which one do you feel fits your needs the best. Is it the Oculus Quest? Is it the Rift S? Or maybe something else like the Valve Index? I'd love to know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you like this video, make sure you're subscribed for all my future content, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Yeah.